a huge deal or just like a little blip in their play calling? We always, early in the season, we were like, oh my goodness, Dan Campbell's losing both coordinators. It's like, it's okay, promote from within, it will all work. This feels like the first time that narrative actually had some teeth to it, that he had to wrest control of the offense.
Yeah, it's interesting, and because was on a staff in San Francisco where the play calling, even though there was an offensive coordinator, different guys on the staff had different responsibilities. So one guy would call the 2-minute, another guy would call third down, another guy would call red zone, another guy would call the running game. Now, ultimately, the offensive coordinator made the final call, but he would say, what do you like here? What do you want here? So maybe this is a similar situation where ultimately Dan said, I'm going to make the final call, whether we run or pass. And I think Johnny probably leans heavier towards the pass than the run. And maybe there's certain things that Dan definitely wanted and wanted to be definitive on. So that's why he took control over it. But I have been part of staffs where they do chop things up much differently than when you would anticipate, where one guy's making every call.
So is this nothing to be? Does he have to keep it from now on?
Well,
it goes back and forth.
It went pretty well, so I would imagine he'll keep it until it doesn't go well. And I don't think it's a great situation for Johnny. Like, look, whenever someone takes control of the thing that you have control of, it doesn't look good, it doesn't feel good, but he's a team player. He'll fall in line like he did, and if it helps him win, then you suck it up and go.
Didn't love it. You like that?
I don't want to be rude. I don't know that I believe it.
What do you mean by that? He had glasses on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that, like, I don't think Dan Campbell is, during the game, all of a sudden doing what Sean Payton does. I don't think that. I think he is overseeing more than picking the plays, even when he hasn't. Like,
What do you mean?
Like, I think that what you're describing is likely what's happening here, rather than what it was portrayed as, which is he is now one of the coaches that is calling all the plays.
Yeah, I don't think he's in every single offensive meeting, completely hammering out the game plan.
That's what
I think he's overseeing it. He's probably not installing the game plan or any of those things that the offensive coordinator traditionally does. But I would imagine there were certain things he was frustrated with. He probably said, I want these things to happen. They weren't happening, so he said, okay, I'm going to make sure they happen by having last say.
I'm putting it in my
Well, look, I mean,
in my file.
they've had some bad losses this year, and they were just coming off one, and the offense hasn't been as good. So now's the time to try to make a change, I think, versus after you lose in the playoffs again.
Okay. Coming up.
Yeah, this is an interesting one with the play calling, because there are different styles of play calling. And I think Monty did a great job of pointing that out. It's actually what the Bucs had this situation with their current offensive coordinator, and who they had their offensive coordinator Liam Cohen last season, where their current OC for the Bucs last year, even though he wasn't the formal offensive coordinator, did all the play calling for on 3rd and 4th downs. And it made a pretty smooth transition for him to become the main OC. And Harbaugh, for instance, he's not the play caller with the Chargers. That is offensive Harbaugh. But he is definitely saying, I want to run here. I want to pass here. Like, he definitely will insert himself in that regard. Then you have other walk-on coaches that don't insert themselves at all necessarily, and they're really just kind of giving themselves the final say of, like, we're going for it on 4th down, we're kicking the field goal throughout the course of the game, and it is always hard to know the exact dynamic of these situations. When a coach who's not 100%, I am the OC, I am the one that's calling these plays, I am the one that is developing these plays, installing the offense, etc., etc., what type of dynamic they're having in terms of, hey, I really want to run here. Hey, you know what? We're going up against this team. Our scripted plays, we are running the ball heavy, or, like, it's just you don't really know. It is what makes it it makes it a lot harder. We know Andy Reid, we know Sean McVay, we know Kevin O, we know Sean Payne, we know those guys. The offense is them. The play calling is them. What they want to do, the game plan, it is them. they're obviously getting other information from other people and bouncing off ideas and whatnot, but it all stops and starts with them. No shadow of a doubt. No shadow of a doubt. It's definitely a little bit more blurred with a Dan Campbell and how he was calling play. You know, this whole with Nick saying like I don't believe him or believe it, like that's kind of a bizarre reaction to me. I think wanting to get clarity in terms of like how is this actually unfolding? In terms of the play calling, I don't know if there's a definitive answer. And throughout the course of this game, was he the one fully calling plays, or was he more overseeing? Was he having a back and forth conversation and saying, okay, yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Or was he saying, no, this is the play that I want to run. And then after that play was run, he's like, this is the play that I want to run next. Like, this is what we're called, like, was he officially doing that? Was he having the conversations to Jared? Goofing the headset saying, hey, look for this, look for that, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't really know, and we don't know. We don't really have that answer right now. So it is something to kind of, you know, to monitor and to watch unfold. I don't think blowing out the Commanders means much of anything to me. And this is what I talked about in the post-game video, and I've been saying this for the Detroit Lions for, you know, months and months and months and months now, that like them blowing out a bad team never means anything to me. I fully expect it, and they're such a well-practiced, you know, such a buttoned up team, and they execute at such a high level that like beating a bad team is like that. It just means nothing. I mean, it's fun. I mean, it means nothing to me for other great teams, but it especially means absolutely positively nothing to me for the Detroit Lions. And it never shows me that's how great they are when they blow out the Carolina Panthers, which is what they did last year in the Jacksonville Jacks. Just means nothing to me. And when we're talking about play calling and doing that, it is different calling plays against a team that is just going nowhere right now, the Washington Commanders, than when you're going up against Spags and the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a different beast. And that's what I even said about their offensive coordinator right now, and their DC for that matter, is that, yeah, they're looking really good and have some great play calling and whatnot and great execution against some of these other lower teams or coaching staffs. And it's like, but the way how you really become special, the way how you really achieve your dreams and goals of winning the Super Bowl is like, you got to do it against Chiefs. You got to do it against the Eagles. You got to, you know, you got to do it against the teams that the coaching battle is actually head to head. That it is a true chess match. That's what it ultimately gets boiled down to. And so beating the Commanders just doesn't do that for me whatsoever. And we saw some of those issues against the Chiefs, against the Vikings, etc. Now, with Dan Campbell having more of his fingerprints on the play call, the offense, I'm excited to see what it continues to look like. And you know, their next, I think they played the Eagles. It's always weird because the Eagles, I'm making this video obviously before the Eagles even played, so I'm like, I think the next game is against the Eagles, if memory serves me correctly. And so that will be a really important game, and when you can learn a lot, although we'll see how the Eagles look against Packers. Maybe the Eagles get rolled by the Packers, and we're like, huh, Eagles really aren't that good of a team. They only beat the Vikings and the Giants, you know, like who knows. But if the Eagles look good, Eagles look like a complete high-quality team, then that will really be like their main barometer. You know, not playing or, you know, also playing the Vikings again, and the Packers for that matter, but not the Commanders. There's really not much to learn there, or to even really be impressed by when you're the Detroit Lions. Just like how I said, there was nothing for the Kansas City Chiefs to be impressed by when they beat the Commanders and when they beat the Raiders. It's like, and that's why I joked. I was like, it was fun to celebrate the win or to talk up the win for the Seattle Seahawks being the Commanders, because someone like Colin was saying the Seahawks are going to lose that game. And I was like, I wish people were saying that the Detroit Lions were going to lose this game, because then you could be like, what? Really? You thought they were going to lose? But like, I don't think anyone felt that the Marcus Mariota and the D and the Washington Commanders were going to take down the Detroit Lions. So, you know, just kind of a straightforward win from my viewpoint. But really interesting, though, obviously, with Dan Campbell inserting himself. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Detroit Lions, the play calling from Dan Campbell? What are your thoughts on all of this right now? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.